We did it, Cleveland. This is for you.
Well, listen, I don't know how your weekends were, but my weekend was riddled with questions about Paul Pierce's walk through Los Angeles.
Did he do it?
Did he really do it?
Of course I did.
Yes, he was. That was definitely the question, and if you were going to do it again, because you seem pretty inspired to continue to make this bet. But
yeah,
he made good, and he's here today. Do you think your walk inspired the Celtics to the Game 3 win?
Well, I like to hope it did. And then I had I messaged Jaylen Brown, and I said, "Come on," I was telling him about Game 4, and he was like, "We got you, OG. We don't want you walking no more." So I like to think that I had some
type of... I can't put in any more miles.
I can't put no more miles. You know, these legs got a lot of miles on them. I can't do that again. And so I like to think that I did inspire him. But this is the game that's important tonight, Game 4. So hopefully, you know, this carries over. Because if we win this, it's on and popping. Yeah. It's on and popping, Key. Pressure bust pipes. You know that.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You think his walk inspired them?
No, not at all. They knew they could. They was up by 20 in both games.
Yeah.
At home.
True.
Whatever they did, they took their foot off the pedal. They didn't do it this week in New York. They got out to an early, fast start. Tatum got the cooking. You know, Peyton Pritchard chimed in a little bit. He was out there cooking. Al Horford obviously continued to do what he's doing. Jaylen Brown. So it's like the Knicks are first of all, they own the Knicks in the regular season. Mm-hmm. Okay? The Knicks, for whatever reason, took care of business those first 2 games in Boston. But I think that pressure that was applied to Boston in Game 3 to win that game, it was almost like win or go home type situation because we know that they came back, I think it was in 17 against Miami, 2017, right?
Yeah.
Against Miami. You can't keep relying on that. 3-0 down, I'm coming back. They knew that going in to New York. And they said, well, we're not going to allow that to happen. We got off to a fast start. They actually shot the 3 well, 50% from the 3. That's Boston Celtic basketball. And I think at this point, for me, it's a wrap. It's over with.
Well, we'll get into that. I think everything matters, you know, the butterfly effect. So I think everyone took notice to how serious the Game 3 matchup was for the Celtics. Can't have your legends walking around the city of LA on your behalf. But let's get into that game. The Celtics got it together to win Game 3 in Madison Square Garden. Peyton Pritchard led Boston in scoring with 23 points off the bench. The Celtics held their 25-point halftime lead this time, winning their first game of the series by 22 points. Paul watched the game at Cosm LA, was feeling very confident after the Celtics took a big lead. Let's take a listen.
If the Knicks win this game, I'll walk again. They win this game, I'm walking again. So, no way they win this game. No way.
Was that the start of the game?
We can't let Paul outside.
Was that the start of the game?
No, this is after they were up 30.
Oh, you was up 30. Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, man.
No, but we lost being up 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you was really. I'm like, okay, well, he's a few.
Because it was some Knicks fans. It was a lot of.
He's for sure a few in.
You were drinking lemonade?
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't lemonade. It was something mixed with the lemonade.
Well, how confident should Paul be for Game 4 tonight, Keith?
Very confident. I mean, he should be very confident. I'm even confident for him because I watched Game 1 and 2 and 3, and they won all those games, even though the record doesn't say that as far as I was concerned, because they was up 20-20. And then at this stage, what was the largest score in Game 3?
31.
So they up by 31. Like, look, think about that, 20-20 and 31. And they didn't surrender that lead like they did in the first 2 games. And because the Knicks are shook right now. All them Tracy Morgans and Spike Lees and all them dudes sitting off courtside, all them legendary Knicks players, players that played 1 or 2 years for the Knicks that happen to be legendary Knicks players now hanging out at the game. They were sick when they walked out of that arena because they thought for sure they was going to go up 3-0 based on what they did in Boston coming back, and they was up 2-0. So I'm confident that Paul could. I'm confident that you could tell the audience and the people that's out there listening that if y'all lose, you'll walk again.
No.
I'm confident for you.
Oh, you confident for me?
Yeah, I'll even join you. How about that?
I don't know
my
about
God.
that. I don't know about that, Keith. My feet still hurt.
No, we won't. Look, no more game-by-game bets that require walking. If you want to put it
No,
on
they
the
got
series,
this, though. Y'all got this. Y'all got this.
you could do that. How confident are you for game 4?
No, like a lot of reasons is what Keith said. You know, look, we don't deter away from our game. They still took 43s. We just missed them. You got to understand the law of averages. This is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the NBA. They made more, they took more, and they live by it, they die by it. But they're not going to have historic nights missing every night. And like he said, we're up 20 every game. We pretty much handed them the first 2 wins. Like, there's nothing I can say that the Knicks did that I'm worried about. There's nothing that I can say the Knicks did to where I'm like, oh, they really beat us. No, we got to the fourth quarter up every game, and then all of a sudden, we taking the same shots, didn't take it to the basket where our threes didn't fall that quarter. Obviously, we need our star players to be stars, which they did in Game 3, and that's what we're going to continue to need them to do. Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year, showed up. Now, the only thing that I'm worried about is getting Porzingis back in the rhythm because I feel like he's key. He is a huge piece of our success to where we can get him the ball during mismatches. He can take you inside and outside because, you know, even though Jason Tatum played, you know, by my standards, he played okay because I hold him at a high standard. Jaylen Brown, he played okay, and we won by the amount we won by, like 22 points. They're gonna wake up and play better. I have to believe that because even though it's been 3 games, they haven't really played well or great to me. Jason Tatum's going to be a first-team All-NBA player this year. He shot 8 for 20. He'll be better than that. Jaylen Brown, 7 for 18. He'll be better than that. So I got to believe that coming into Game 4, he'll be better. Get this thing back home to Game 5 where the crowd is going to go crazy, all tied up, and shift the momentum, and hopefully we'll see Celtics in 6.
You know, they did what they were supposed to do. They responded with their game. The threes were falling, which is a big reason why they were able to get that lead up to 31. Listen, blowing a 20-point lead 2 games in a row is scary. But if you blow 2 20-point leads and a 31-point lead, I don't know if you really belong here. This is too much, especially as a team that is the defending champions. And you have to go game by game. So they took care of Game 3. Tonight, though, I think is as important. I don't think they can go into a 3-1 hole and fight their way back out of it. So even though they had to win, it was an absolute must-win in Game 3, I think it's still pretty close in Game 4. I can't imagine that New York is going to have a similar performance. I think this will be a much closer game, and they're going to have to execute down the stretch. So they're not completely out of the woods yet, and particularly because I think New York knows this game here, this Game 4, is their opportunity.
Yep.
If it evens up, the Celtics are winning this series. They're just they're the better team. They're more the experienced team. They're defending champions. But if New York can get this game tonight, it's the only way that they're going to get out of this series. So this is, to me, this is the most pivotal game of the series.
I always say Game 4. Whenever a series is 2-1, in a Game 4 is always the most, because that's the momentum shift.
Right.
You know, either going to go up 3-1 or it's going to be 2-2, and whoever wins gets back in the race usually has the momentum. And that's why if the Seas win, I feel like they have the momentum, and it'll carry over at home.
Well, let's talk about the Warriors. Golden State dropped Game 3 at home to fall behind in the series with the Wolves. Playoff Jimmy showed up, though, 33 points, and Jonathan Kuminga scored 30 off of the bench. But the other 8 Warriors that played combined for only 34 points. Reportedly, Steph Curry won't return until Game 6 at the earliest. This was a tough one for the Warriors to lose. It was right there. But can the Warriors make it to Game 6 without Steph?
I don't think they can, Joy. I mean, I feel like the Warriors gave them their best punch last game. I mean, Jimmy showed up like Jimmy does. And then you get 30 from Kuminga, like off the bench. What more do you want from him? Because this is a guy who's been taking out the playoff rotation. This is a guy who's just been sitting over there getting stale like a bag of chips. And then they put him in there and he give you all he can give you and you still lose. I just don't see it. It just feels like Steph's injury has taken the air out of Golden State. You know, even like Draymond, he has to give you more. You know, he was 1 for 4 in 30 minutes. He has to be a little more aggressive because in the 2 games he was aggressive. They played well. You know, so I just don't see it. Curry's gravitational pull is just too much to be losing. And I think it's drained the team. It's just like when you lose. We lost Kevin Garnett in the year we was going back to back, and it's just like we played well. It was just like, but we just knew that we're not the same without our emotional leader right there, our guy. He's our guy, and that's what the Warriors are missing. Their guy. It's just hard to overcome that. And in the locker room, you could just. Like it's just like it's a false sense of confidence. They'll say all the right things and it'll sound good, but they in the back of their minds they're like, it's tough to win when Steph's not out there.
You know, it's going to be hard. There's no question about it. But for some reason, I sense and I feel that Paul, I want you to grow up. So I feel like they're in the same situation that Boston was in going to New York. Even though they're at home, because they don't want to go down 3-1.
Right.
Right? They don't want to go down 3-1. So they can even the score at 2-2, and then they just got to go back to Minnesota because you still got Jimmy Butler, and you mentioned Kuminga, even though Kuminga's being treated like Jason Tatum was being treated by Coach Kerr at the Olympics, where he all of a sudden decided he wants to play him all of a sudden now. When you look at it, you just need Draymond. Paul is right. You're fouling out, you're giving me 2 points, you're only shooting 4 times. I need you to be more aggressive and help Jimmy Butler because you can score enough to take some of the pressure off of him. And then everybody else has got to bring their lunch pail to the room as well. And they didn't do that. And this is why they sit there 1-2. But I believe they can get to 2-2. I do. And hold off until Steph comes back to Game 6.
I mean, both of these games are just so pivotal. They have to win this game tonight. The only way the Warriors have a chance of making it out of this series, to me, is making it a long one. They have to really take it down to the line. And this isn't even a guarantee that Steph is going to be back.
Yeah, I know.
So you're not going to fight back from down 3-1 without Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So,
No, they can't afford, like I said, it's just like the Boston situation.
Yeah.
They cannot afford to go down to 3-1. It's not going to happen.
Two super pivotal games tonight. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.